This is your Wednesday lesson, September 4th. Maintaining the same major units and 2.md.1, measuring the length of an object with appropriate tools. We're going to attend to precision and look for make use of structures. This is building our understanding towards a ruler, an inch ruler. Iterate one unit across an object to measure using mark and move. This is the second lesson in this sequence. So the first is repeated use of an inch tile. This is marking and moving the inch tile. Again, like I said before, I don't have an inch tile at the house because I left them behind my desk. So I'm also not going to use a tape measure because that was ridiculous. So I'm going to model it with a fake visual. Introduced to inches in the last one, but today mark and move requires some intensive precision. It's challenging because they need to be precise and accurate. And when they mark and measure, they need to make sure they're counting the units, not the lines. That is the big misconception of the day. Inches are a unit of measurement. We learned that yesterday. We can measure to the nearest inch by using mark and move. The space between the marks represents the length. This is huge, and I think the biggest thing for the day. When we mark and move, we place down a unit over and over again, and then we count the number of units from endpoint to endpoint. Line up the cube, mark, I think you should write tile. Mark the end with a pencil, line up the cube at that mark, and again, there's no visual anchor provided, but a CFS for a written response. Please make sure to read this carefully so that you can, and repeat with no gaps, sorry. Record your answer count spaces. That's the whole visual anchor. And then they have an actually strong game-based, they have an actually strong real visual anchoring here. The issue is this is a lot of text for a little kid. And so what we need to do instead is put mark and move up here, put the visual at the top with the, we'll use a pencil again because it is the easiest thing to use mark and move on. And then showing that this repeated iteration of mark and move, you want to use that visual right here. And then at the bottom, the CFS from up here. Please read this. It's not great, but it's good, and it'll help you become a better mathematician or math teacher. You have to have this in your hand while you're teaching. Otherwise, you're not collecting real data. And now for some fake mathing. So tricky thing is today you have the iterations over a broken unit. And so they need to take their very large inch tile. I think it actually is probably around that. Line it up endpoint to endpoint. And actually, like, these are all individual endpoints. This is 2, this is 1, this is 1. And then my favorite thing to do is to put the boxes on the top so they can write 2 plus 1 plus 1 and check it off each time they take a new one and get 4. Again, they're going to identify, let me do it down here. First, identify the endpoints. Then place the tile down, mark and move, mark and move. Let's say about here, mark and move, mark and move, mark and move, mark and move. You can, I like to put the value of each section, 1, 2, 3, 1, and then they know if they have these little boxes, they're doing 1 plus 1 plus 3 plus 1 equals 6 inches, equals 4 inches. Again, this is going to be endpoint to endpoint. You're giving yourself that endpoint. Mark, place, mark, move, place, mark, move, place, mark, move, place, mark, move. What should not happen is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers, like literally writing the number 1, the number 2, the number 3, because then it actually doesn't indicate the value of each section. So this section is 1, this section is 2, this section is 2, so it's 1 plus 2 plus 2 equals 5 inches.